What is true femininity? In this panel, we explore the rich tapestry of true femininity, navigating through empowerment, self-discovery, and the unique qualities that make each woman a force to be reckoned with in her own right. Moderator of this panel is my co-host, Palak. So let's start.
Thank you, Yelena. So, welcome to this panel. It's a beautiful topic. The meaning of this topic is true femininity in today's world. Thank you so much for joining us. This topic has truly evolved and changed over a period of time. Femininity, what was known earlier and what is now, is very different. And we have such a beautiful, diverse group of people from all across the world today representing what true femininity stands for. And we're truly honored to have you with us today on International Women's Day. So, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Devi Mohan. She is a multifaceted individual, a spiritual guide, seemingly balances roles of a wife, mother, humanitarian, an author, and traditional yoga teacher. Originating from war-torn Yugoslavia, her journey has transformed into a profound path of service. As a global ambassador of Mohanji Foundation and the president of ACT Foundation, Devi ji is dedicated to global charity work. She is also the co-founder of World Womanhood Project, and she leads transformative practices like conscious dancing, awakening yoga nidra, and also embraces holistic spirituality. She advocates for a dharmic living. Her autobiography, Home for a Refugee, reflects the heartfelt spirit of commitment, of turning pain into purpose. Devi embodies the message of live liberated and leave liberated. In one line of the key messages of her partner's philosophy, Mohanji. Devi ji, very welcome to you. Very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, dear Palak.
We also have Jadranka with us, Jadranka Petrovic. And she is an intuitive life coach, a motivational speaker from Serbia. She has graduated law, but life moved her in another direction. She became an intuitive life coach, motivator, and public speaker. After years of living abroad, she moved back to Serbia and for years has been creating safe spaces for personal growth and development for people both in the Balkans and internationally. She started her career 6 years ago in Sweden, and more than 8,000 people have gone to her workshop so far. I've personally seen her Instagram and it is so engaging. Thank you, Jadranka, for joining us here today. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much. I feel honored and blessed to be here.
Likewise. Now we welcome Meher Malik, who is joining us from the mountain somewhere. Hi, Meher. Meher is a mover, mentor, mother, and a graduate in Buddhism studies. She's an accomplished belly dancer. We have seen her grow over the last few years incredibly. And as a researcher in chakra systems and energy work, she integrates both various modalities, right? So she specializes in conscious connected breath work, and she explores womb healing, sensual somatics, Zen practices, and the feminine and masculine polarity methods. The director of Studio Banjara, she's a co-founder at Moksha in the movements and developments of chakras. 7-week chakra healing is the course she does. Committed to self-growth and conscious collective healing, Meher creates and embodies the heart and mind body experiences for her clients and embodying a passion for service to all sentient beings. Meher, so nice to have you with us. And last but not the least, we have Preetika Rao. Preetika is an award-winning Indian actress. She's known for the hit TV show, and she enjoys Bintaha and Be Intaha, and she enjoys the international acclaim of 10 countries, facilitated in the UK and Tanzania. She earned the prestigious awards, including the Z Gold Best Debut and ITA Best Jury. Recognized amongst 50 best faces in India by Grazia magazine, Preetika has graced top colleges as chief guest. She is a diverse talent. She's been a teen model, a South actress, lead in Love Ka Hai Intezar, and she's also a singer. Last but not the least, she's also unique in her generation with her podcast. She records songs with Saregama India, pioneers astrology podcast. You must check out her Instagram and YouTube for her very knowledgeable podcasts. And she's been trending in India and getting popularity globally as well. Pritika, so nice to have you with us.
Thank you. My pleasure and honor to be here. It was wonderful to see your video, especially Mohanji's inspiring story. And the song on womanhood was really well written, very inspiring again. So I'm glad I am here today. Happy Women's Day, all of you.
Happy Women's Day. Well, we want to start, without further ado, we want to start with the first topic itself, right? What is true femininity? I'm going to just, open the show and ask the question to everyone. Please feel free to, converse with each other. So maybe, Pritika, you would want to tell us a little bit about what is true femininity in today's times for you?
So I think, somebody rightly put it across that, the whole concept of feminism has changed over the last few years. Like, especially Western women faced a lot of, oppression and discrimination, and they were not given equal rights and opportunities. Also, they were not allowed to vote. And also, there was gender bias where it came to even choosing professions. But now it's changing so rampantly that, some of these issues I don't think are, any longer that huge. Especially in my profession, if I can speak about myself, when I did television, Indian television is all about women, it's about the saas and the bahu, and, it's like women centric. So it's changing. It's changing for the better. But I definitely feel that, there was a time when women were racing to be like men, to dress like men, to be able to do the same thing like men do. But that's not really, that's not really what we need today. We need to maintain our, our essence and not lose it. And I think the essence of women, the true essence of women is this nurturing and caring nature that we all women have. And we should not lose or compromise on it, in our attempt to go out there in the world and establish ourselves, as working independent women. I definitely feel that we should keep a balance. We should be that perfect wife material, that perfect mother material. We should do all of that and maintain the balance. I think then that would be true, a sense of feminism for me.
What are your thoughts, Meher?
Thank you, Pritika, for sharing that. Thank you so much. I would like to say that when we talk about femininity or masculinity, to be very honest, I think that isn't subject to just man and woman. Femininity and masculinity are essences that are innate in all of us. They exist in all of us. We all come from a mother and a father. So femininity and masculinity both exist in us. But if we're talking about femininity from perspective to the woman, if you look at how femininity plays in a woman, is it naturally creates this body that makes space for something to grow in it. So for me, I truly believe that to heal this collective sisterhood, it's this recognition that our bodies are designed to make space, to expand, to be all inclusive, to nurture. And that being said, I think that femininity to me now, if I had to define this, would be that I make space for the other woman to be who she wants to be. Her choices and her life and her decisions what she wears, how she speaks cannot be my playground of judgment. And by nature, if femininity is about being fluid, because that's when we talk about masculine and feminine polarity, if femininity is about fluidity, and if it's about this expansion and this all-encompassing nature, just like nature, like I'm looking at a pine tree right in front of me right now, if that's what its inherent nature is, then I feel like that's what we must practice as well, is to allow, not just allow, who are we to allow, but to make space for women to be who they want to be without the judgment. Yeah.
Very insightful, Meher. Thank you. Devi ji, you have such a vast experience of dealing with all kinds of women across the world. What are your thoughts on the subject?
Yes, first of all, thank you all for coming together in this online space, which is nevertheless so real for all of us, because we are the masters of holding space as women. And on today's day, we come together to support one another, to express our sisterhood and our love. And I'm right now in the office of director of a women's prison. So I'm reporting live from a prison for women. And it's an interesting energy to be in for a Womanhood Festival. If you ask me what is femininity, the first image that comes in the mind and the feeling that associated with it is a goddess with multidimensional arms. And I believe that every woman embodies a goddess. As I was growing up, I didn't really, nobody ever told me that, and I never had this idea. And the first time this idea came to me was when I received my very first Shaktipat, energy transfer to the third eye and crown from Mohanji. And the great master Shirdi Baba appeared and he spoke through Mohanji, and he told him, the highest version of you is Devi, or that time he said Mother Mary. And later on, I have understood that for me, Mother Mary is actually not a historic figure of Mother Mary, but Devi herself, Divine Mother in all her aspects. So as women, we embody all the aspects of Devi as Parashakti. And especially, as Meher said, it's that masterhood in holding space and being so expanded, so embracing, that we really allow for the creation to happen. We allow for the beauty to manifest in this world. And aside from holding space, we are also masters of transitions. So we are that force that flows through any obstacle, the river that flows through around any rock, any obstacle, and finds its way through. So such is the power of the woman. She can never be beaten. As Elena beautifully sang this song, you can be beaten many times, but you always emerge back strong. There's that Shakti, and it's felt in every woman. And every woman plays so many roles. But in the end, she knows she's much more than any of those roles. So we can never be confined as just the mothers, just the office women, just the wives. We are so much more, and we know it. And we are here as sisters to hold space for one another, to connect with that Shakti and just be that.
Wow. It's so powerful to hear such diverse experiences from all of you, but at the same time, somehow they all come together. And Jadranka, we would want to know from you, what does true femininity mean for you?
First of all, thank you so much. I already learned a lot, and I'm just like, my whole body is just feeling so much. And I will say 3 words right now: being alive in my body, voice, and have right. I will explain why the voice. I grew up without a mother. My mom died of cancer, so I grew up with my father and 2 older brothers. And they loved me very much, but I grew up in very patriarchal environment. And always I felt like you cannot do that because you are a woman. You cannot say that because you're a woman. You cannot wear that because you're a woman. And the fact I'm standing here today with all of you, with my beloved Devi, who I learned a lot from, and speak and have my face on and have my dad in another room supporting me, being the woman I am today. It's the true femininity is my voice. And also you see me, but you see my mother in me, you see my grandmother in me, you see hundreds of women who lived before me and had to go through everything they had to go through so I can be here today. And the right and the power I had the courage to step into, to be the woman I am today, to cherish myself, to explore myself, to learn what that being a woman means to me growing up in Balkans and then changing the environment to Scandinavia that is totally opposite. So I will definitely say it's a voice, it's a warmth, it's a strength, but also in the same time, it's a beautiful vulnerability, and it's definitely the right to be my authentic self. And through that authenticity, to heal all the ancestors who lived before me and who are living today through me.
So you really had to go within, find your center, and talk from a space of insight and finding yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's amazing. We all have to face this at some point, and we are so honored to have women with us here who resonate with us. And all our audiences who are watching here, please feel free to, share your thoughts and comments. There are thousands of women all across the world who are listening to this. And even if we can transform one woman's life into believing into themselves from these stories, we would think that this event is a success. So please do share your thoughts with us. You may find more people with you in the community, and that's our whole aim, to create a global community. We would come to Preetika now. Preetika, as an Indian actress who's accomplished, and people often have expectations from actresses, right? How do you navigate societal expectations while still staying true to your authentic expression of femininity?
When it comes to society and its expectations, we live in a society, right? We live in a community and we have to respect that. So me as an actor, I have personally, and I can speak about myself and for myself, I have been very careful about how I use my profession. Because for me, ever since my childhood, everything was from the karmic point of view, everything. Even at the age of 11, when I gave up eating non-vegetarian food, everything was, the entire lens was a karmic lens to life. So when it comes to even my profession, I am very, very conscious and careful what kind of roles I accept as an actor, because I do believe that we are very strong influencers, and there are, there are people watching us who are, young adults, who are teenagers, who are at the age of 10, 11, 12, and then of course senior citizens as well. So you impact them with the kind of roles you choose to play, the kind of characters you choose to play on screen, and of course with your body language, your outfits, your everything. It's all out there, making an impact. So I personally have been very careful, because I feel that I am responsible enough not to have a wrong impact on anyone, people from different age groups, with my profession as an actor. So
Does that restrict you a little bit? I mean,
Sorry?
Isn't that, as an influencer, a lot of people are willing to broaden their horizon to take more opportunities. But do you ever feel that saying no to so much, having the power of having a larger influence, do you ever feel restricted, or?
Well, you need to first believe in it. It's not something that you do for somebody else. It's first something that you do for yourself. So I have said no to a large number of offers, because even today, offers come along with a certain package. There are certain set of rules for actors. You are supposed to be brazen and have no inhibitions when it comes to wearing costumes, or different kind of portraying different kind of romantic scenes. You really don't have a say, because it's all on contract today. So even before getting there, you have to tell or ask yourself, are you prepared? Are you compromising on your comfort space, or the set of ethics that you, or principles that you have in your life? Because we all are very different, right? I personally am a very conservative, old school, old fashioned person, and I cannot compromise on that comfort space for fame, name, to be seen or to get that kind of role. I cannot. And I think I am proof that I have said no to a lot of roles, or a lot of offers, which I was not comfortable enacting or taking up. So yes, societal pressures is not something that bothers me. I think it's my own mindset. It's my own, like I take it upon myself as a responsibility that my actions should not impact somebody negatively in their life, and also in the perception of women. Because today I feel that with our own actions as influencers, with our own, the way we dress, all of that, we create a very different perception out there for the younger generation. The way they will perceive women, the way they will look at women, everything is changing, and women are responsible for that. I think women should take a certain amount of responsibility for the way they choose to impact teenagers, children, young adults. The phone is there in everybody's hands today. Yes.
Yeah. Preetika, we're so proud of you standing up for what you believe in. It really takes courage, and that's a huge inspiration for everyone.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you said that, because there are people out there who actually write to me that don't lose this innocence, or don't take up this kind of roles. Not only to me, it happened even to my sister, Amrita. She would be flooded with emails where there would be guys who would write to her, don't lose your innocence, don't take up those kind of roles, that has exposing and all of that. It's a package deal. Glamour, the glamour industry is a package deal of all of that. So yes, you have to have your career, but there should be a certain amount of and you should be definitely, you should stand up for what you feel. I didn't want to ever bring myself to a point where I look back, down the lane, memory lane, like 10 years back, I look back and say, what was I doing? Why did I do this? I don't feel good about it anymore, So I'm glad I never did that, or to myself, with the choices I made. Yes.
Lovely. Meher, you have a large following as well, and you have been in touch with all sorts of women, right? You yourself have chosen a very bold path of teaching people to embrace their femininity and belly dancing. Do you think that people have now grown and they have understood, the understanding of femininity has evolved over the years?
My path has always been the path of rebellion. It has always been. Yes, exactly. I was just thinking when I was listening to Preetika ji, and I was listening, and I was like, oh my God, my life has been exactly the opposite. I came into a country and I brought belly dance with me into the country of India, and everybody was just like shocked. And I experienced racism in my own country because they told me that how can a brown girl belly dance? And I experienced that in my own country. And I was like, of course you can belly dance. The color of your skin doesn't decide if you can belly dance or not. And it was extremely strange. It was extremely strange because there were so many parameters. There was no difference for them between a belly dancer and a sex worker. According to Indians at that point of time, they only thought that it was dancers who came in from Russia or Ukraine that could belly dance. Nobody from any other country could belly dance. So there were so many misconceptions and myths. But I never saw these as problems, to be very, very honest. I never saw these as problems because I've always realized that the inability of society to see something for what it is simply merely ignorance. Merely. It's not good or bad. It's just ignorance. It's not knowing better. That's it. And so I took that as an opportunity actually to change minds around belly dance, to help people recognize that this is a dance form that really is womb connection. And when you say femininity, how can you minus sensuality from it? It is the basic nature of femininity, and there's no way to minus the two from one another. So I would say, yes, the country's come a far, far way. Huge. I would say that belly dance wasn't just a dance form in India. It was a revolution. It was a means to do something greater. It wasn't just about the dance. It was about helping women say no. And I'll tell you why. Because when women went on stage to belly dance many, many years back, they'd have their boyfriends or husbands or fathers tell them that you can't wear that and you can't do this and you can't do that. So it became a place for women to own their own bodies and say, I'm going to wear this costume. I'm going to dance on stage and the public's going to watch me and I'm going to have a good time doing that. So I think that what belly dance did was give women the opportunity to say no, that this body is mine and I reclaim it for myself and I choose to do what I want to do with it. And I think that that's what it is in the end. In the end, I think that that kind of openness is happening. It's every day is a changing day. And I think it's best to let women decide what to do with their bodies and how to be.
Absolutely. When we see you dancing, it's more like you're celebrating your own self than doing it for someone else, right? And
of course. Of course. I mean, why? What is not to celebrate in this body? My breasts become a kitchen. My womb can have a belly. My yoni can, bring forth life. I mean, what is not to celebrate?
The perception. Beautiful, Meher. Thank you so much for sharing that. Deviji would ask you now, you have been conducting women's circles and, you believe in the power of women, bringing women together, right? And it's so peaceful when you are conducting a safe space for women to talk. So how important do you feel such gatherings are? And can you share more details about this?
Yes, I feel this is probably one of the most important movements on planet Earth right now. Not giving importance to myself and what I do, but exactly what Meher just spoke. Bringing back sexuality's sacred dimension, reintroducing it for the men and for the women is the number one topic in the world today. We all know how much of perversion there is, pornification, sexual objectivization of women. And until we heal that, and until we introduce dance as the most ancient form of feminine expression, authentic, beautiful, elevated, that used to be the introduction of men into sexuality in a very healthy way. And it was removed because porn industry and patriarchy took that over. We reclaim it now, not out of revenge, but simply we as women need to remove the shaming from our yoni. We need to connect with the curves of our body, with our juiciness, and see it as sacred. And until we achieve that, we will not be able to break through this dominance of patriarchy. And now, after so many thousands of years, we are energetically and collectively entering the space where we can do that. And, I started with women's circles almost a year ago, and it has just completely consumed me. I find it difficult now to do something else because I see the importance. I see how much the energy comes through when we first dance and connect with the yoni, and then we sit and we open up in that vulnerability and we help each other, holding the sacred space. We help each other to heal. We help each other to come into that clarity. And that womanhood as sisterhood is the most powerful force on earth today. I feel that this is where the peace will be restored, that this is where we open the gates of golden age. So a very big responsibility on women today. And that is why we also felt it's so important for us to gather in this festival to just understand what a role we have to play and why. And not only all Mohanji programs, but most other spiritual circles in the world, it's like 80% women. You see women showing up for any serious work on yourself. There's always women because we feel the calling. We know deep inside it's our responsibility. And we are not here to blame the men and patriarchy. We are simply saying it is the time. You know, we come out of a space of maturity and ability to take responsibility, not out of revenge and bitterness, right? So that's the difference. So in women's circles, we nurture that Shakti in one another and that clarity. And every time we come out of a women's circle, we feel so empowered and so nurtured and so connected, you know, it's just mind-boggling. So I feel so honored to be in that space and to be an instrument of women's circles. And as I said, Red Tent movement, Me Too movement, all these are just signs that we are ready, we are there.
So Diviji, do you feel that, the true change should not come out of, another rebellion or another, standing up against it? It's something which women can feel within themselves, transform through women's circles, and then naturally they will express? Or how else do they convey that they are holding their power?
Yes. When we had the initial feminism movement, it was a bit of, it came more out of that space of desperation and revenge and a need to break through. But it kind of went into the direction of masculinization of women, women elbowing their way through the corporate ladders, through, the patriarchal structures. And now the time has come when we said, okay, we can get the education now, at least in most of the countries. And we do have certain rights, but we don't want to lose the feminine qualities because we are functioning as per the patriarchal rules. We reestablish the rules, and we claim that space because we are masters of holding space. We create a space where women can emerge in authentic expression, as Jadranka said. We don't want to be masculine. We don't want to elbow our way through. When I connect with my yoni and when I connect with my curves and my natural feminine nature, I see a great power in that. I don't need to be a man and use a man's way to make my way through. And I also don't need to compete with other women for anything. We stand together in sisterhood and we inspire one another to be authentic, true, courageous, just without all the masks, all the, so that culture where woman is just sexual object with bloated lips and, accentuated curves as per the rules of porn industry, we change that now into actual celebration of feminine beauty. And what Meher said, the dance, saying, this is my body. I deep inside remember, I don't know, it is in my consciousness. I remember high priestesses dancing in temples. Dance belongs to temples because woman is a goddess. Dance belongs to temples. Dance belongs to most sacred locations and spaces because that beauty is so overwhelmingly powerful and so inspiring. It needs to be worshipped, it needs to be admired, not as a sexual object, but as beauty itself. Those are the curves where the space of the yoni holds the space for a child to come through. And this is just like a black hole of the universe. It's completely beyond mind's comprehension. It will never be understood what yoni is. That space is so powerful, and the curves of the body are just like dancing around. It's like a galaxy moving through, and this black hole, the yoni, is right there, and it emanates its energy. And the movement of the woman and her curves are there to show the beauty of creation, the beauty of life, the beauty of sacred space. So that is like heaven inside our body, which we then allow to radiate its energy, and we create heaven on earth. So this is where the dance is the prime expression, and then it comes through the voice, because yoni also connects with the vocal cords. There's a profound connection, and the woman's voice and her creative power. This is so beautiful. And when that comes through, ignited by the heart and selflessness, we have a really beautiful world. That's where we allow our men to be truly men, and then women can play their role. So that Shiva Shakti balance is reestablished within individual and then within society. And that's why I always say women are the pillars of peace in the world. We can't have the peace if it's defined by patriarchal norms and the military boots. You know, peace comes only with the balance of masculine and feminine.
Yeah, that's amazing. What you said really touched my heart, and I'm sure a lot of hearts in the audience as well. Those in the audience who are watching this, please feel free to ask questions to our speakers. We request if they would be able to share their comments on them later on. But we'd love to hear your thoughts as well. And thank you so much, Deviji, for that insightful talk. We now come to the last question from Jadranka. We've had such variety of expressions here of what is true femininity, and you yourself have been creating spaces and programs for women to truly be themselves, right? What are some of the challenges that you have overcome, and how do you deal with this to let them be themselves?
First of all, I want to say big thanks to everyone who spoke. I feel so inspired, and this is just amazing space and place to be. One of the first challenges is always fear of being judged and fear of being ridiculed. How I will look, how my body will look, what I will say. Am I allowed to say that? What other women or men, but if it's women's circle, what will other women compete with me? How they will check on me, how they will think about me. So the fear itself of being authenticity, me, is one of the biggest challenges. And how I went through is showing myself, showing my heart. I grew up without a mother. She was sick. I talk about my family. I talk about my challenges. I offer open arms and I offer an open heart. And I show my own vulnerability is my biggest strength, because as we hear now, like Devi talks and we react because I hear myself within her. So if one woman stands in front of the others and say, hey, you're welcome into my arms, you're welcome into my life, you're welcome into my mistakes, I'm opening myself to you. I'm a human being under that body that I show, and under my intelligence and under of my soul, some sister will recognize herself in me, and she will feel maybe for the first time. So many times happened in the years before that many women on my workshop said, okay, I'm now ready after 20 or 30 years to say my truth for the first time. I was raped, or this happened to me, or I survived this. And the moment that empowers other sisters around that person is healing the planet Earth, and is the thing that Devi said, that's what will cure us all. And how Mohanji said beautifully, we are humankind, we have to become kind humans. So in those kind of workshops, I try to create a safe space so they can feel safe to come in their authentic self, to embrace their darkness, to embrace their mistakes, to allow themselves to ugly cry or move their body how they want, to allow themselves to feel pleasure, to allow themselves to talk with another. And when you feel safe, and sometimes most of us don't feel safe in our biological families. That's what I experienced in mine, because I grew up with 3 men who I repeat, they loved me and they do love me now, but they couldn't understand me. I didn't have any female figure in my life, so I had to learn from beautiful ladies like you today, and I thank you all again. So when you have one woman open to share everything she is, That's God to me. That healed me. The fact about me that I talk about publicly is that 8 years ago I almost committed suicide. And when I was going through the healing process, actually women who came out of who they are and who talked about their life and their insecurities and everything they went through saved me. Because I said, okay, if this woman can change something, if there is one woman in the world who lives something that I want to live, I can hold on to that. I can try to learn that. And if there is no woman living what I want to live, I will be the first one. I will show some other sister, tomorrow my daughter, how it can be done. So safety, warmth feeling, welcome feeling, you're safe here, you have soul family, you have sisterhood, you have a space for you, you have a space for your pain, you have a space for your tears, you have a space for your pleasures. You're welcome here. That would be my answer.
That's beautiful. That's actually, you've summed it up very beautifully. We've all come together to create a safe space for women, so that even if you find one friend, who can, I mean, what you said was not small, right? You were almost going to commit suicide, but you found somebody. One person makes a whole difference. So, well, thank you for pouring your heart out. We really appreciate it.
Thank you
with
for
this,
listening.
thank you. With this, we come to the end of this panel, and our heartfelt thank you to all of you. Please stay on for the whole event. It will go on till evening, and please share your thoughts with us, your wisdom with us. And once again, thank you so much for all of you for being here.